Hello, everyone. Welcome into Above My Pay Grade. My name is Eric. I want to talk about the military today and how I, I have some experience in the military. I've been in the military, and the central bank digital currency that the Fed is pushing. I think the first place, definitely one of the first places they're going to roll it out, is with the military, and I think it violates the oath of office that military members swear to when they join. I'm going to read this real quick. This is the oath of office for the military. And then you state your name, do solemnly swear to affirm, I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. There's a reason it's in that order. Constitution's first and the President's second. Because you swore an oath to defend the Constitution, and if the President and or your senior ranking officers are making unconstitutional orders, then you are lawfully able to disobey those. Now, a lot of people think there's this huge cabal of individuals above us that are trying to implement control. And if you look at the World Economic Forum, it's hard to disprove that. But let me talk about the incentives of a central bank digital currency. One thing that you see today is inflation. And that inflation is because, one of many reasons, is because the Federal Reserve, we have this central bank, it's unelected central bankers who are able to print money, buy things on the open market, but they really only have a very blunt tool, and that is to push money into the market to incentivize buying and incentivize the market activity. So they can push money into the market, or they can suck capital out of the market, which is what they're doing now. And they're forced to do it now because we have inflation. Now, what would a central bank digital currency allow them to do? Part of the reason we have inflation is they can't control what people can buy. So people get paid, and they're able to buy whatever they want. People get stimmy checks, and they're able to buy whatever they want. And that affects supply and demand, because people are able to stock up on things. That's why you saw these meme stocks, and you saw NFTs going through the roof, doggy coin, all that stuff. But the central bank wants more control than that. And every bureaucrat that has ever existed, their juice, they're like, what motivates them is more control. And if you look at the arc of history, it's always about people who want freedom and people who want to implement more control because they think they're smarter than others. But why I think a central bank digital currency, it violates our oath of office, if you're in the military, is it gives control of purchasing power. In other words, it's, I would say it's socialism light, communism light, but it gives this control of what you can spend money on to an unelected bureaucrat like the Federal Reserve. And the place they're going to roll it out is with federal employees first, of course, people who get paid by the federal government. And if you're in the military, you're familiar with how we're used as lab rats for all kinds of stuff. You're like, well, the first people to use it is the military, and shut up and color, you will do it because you fall under the UCMJ and you have to obey orders. But what this can do is it can tell the Fed can do something like, let's say you get your paycheck in Fed coin, and the Fed coin, unlike the dollars that you see come into your bank account today, these can be tracked, and they have individual serial numbers just like dollars do, but they can be tracked, and they can be allocated in such a way that they can say you can only use 20% of Fed coins for fuel, you can only use 10% of Fed coins for food, and they can shut it off and turn it back on based off of whatever they want the economy to do. So, do you think that this kind of power to unelected bureaucrats is constitutional. I would suggest that it isn't. So why do they want this power? Because I mean, it's just like the Trojan horse of the Patriot Act. What's interesting to me is this is somewhat bipartisan. You see on both sides of the aisle, the Patriot Act, there's a lot of conservatives that were telling liberals at the time, you are unpatriotic if you don't think that the government should have this power to monitor terrorists. And we've all seen countless stories of the FBI and CIA monitoring, without a warrant, American citizens. So the question is, do you think the Federal Reserve and the bureaucrats that are in charge of them, aka Congress, will not use this power, the power of programmable money, for evil? And they will take away, because on the other side of every transaction is money, or the thing that we use to purchase something, whether that be silver coins, whether that be barter. On the other side of that is today fiat currency, which is currency by decree. Government says you will use this currency. So if they decree that you will use a CBDC, central bank digital currency, and then they can program it and make sure that you can only spend it on certain things. Maybe you can't buy weapons with it. Maybe you can't support certain companies. Maybe you can't donate to certain companies. And a lot of people say, well, they would never do that. But I would say you're not really paying attention if you don't think the government would abuse that power. And where I think they're going to roll it out first is the military, as they typically roll a lot of things out with the military first. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it violates the Constitution and your oath to serve and protect, or support and defend the Constitution? In my opinion, it does. And we have been moving towards this path where Congress doesn't want to overstep Congress doesn't want to be unconstitutional, but what they do is they go, okay, EPA, you're in charge of this whole swath of green energy, and they give them so much power that Congress is supposed to overwatch. Congress is supposed to watch this, but then Congress puts up their hands when they overstep, when OSHA oversteps, or when the EPA oversteps, and they're like, well, they're in charge of that. But you, as Congress, you gave them all that power. And it really should come back to Congress, who you elect, and you can say, no, not happening. Congress, you're in charge of, which they are, in charge of the Fed and what the Fed's supposed to be doing. But right now it's the other way around. The Fed kind of moves Congress around at whim. This is a line in the sand. Programmable money that's controlled by the government is, I don't want to be hyperbolic here, but it is one of the most dangerous things when it comes to authoritarians. It is one of the most dangerous things when it comes to authoritarians. And look who's implementing it right now: China. China loves this stuff. And the United States is probably going to sell it as a cure to inflation, or a cure to economic woes, or a depression of some kind. They're going to sell it as a cure, but it is one of the most dangerous things. And if you're in the military and you have a voice, this is something that violates your oath of office, in my opinion, because it violates the Constitution. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.